What's up, everyone? Just wanted to show off some 3D prints that I have been working on. These were some files I think I found on Thingiverse or I bought from folks on Etsy. I can't ever remember. I'm always downloading STL files everywhere I go. But I have one of the G.I. Joe Legacy classified police officers there for scale. And I also have a G.I. Joe, it's either slice or dice. I think it's dice head on there, using it as an interchangeable. First thing I'm going to show you is this dumpster right here. Let's see if we can get it in the scale. So you got the two pieces right here where the truck would enter those components in to raise the dumpster up to dump it. You have working lids right there. You have a hollow inside if you want to put any debris, trash, or anything like that. Let me see if I can get this out of the way a little bit. There we go. All right, so there is the side right there. Here is the back. Forgive the window in the background. I'm trying to avoid this glare getting into the video. So this was printed in 3 pieces. Two separate prints, but 3 separate pieces. So the 2 lids were printed on the bed by themselves. And then I printed the dumpster itself with this being the bottom, as you can tell right there, and printing itself up. I did use some supports right here because I needed something to protect that overhang. I used nose supports on the lids. And as you can tell, it scales very nicely with 1/12 scale figures. There we go. Oh, yeah, that's going to look really good. Now, you can buy some of these accessories, which I've shown on previous videos of dumpsters from Ringside Collectibles, I believe, on Amazon. They're about $20. But this probably cost me probably about $5 of materials to print. So, and then you have the luxury of decorating it and doing how you want with it. And it's going to look good in some action figure photography. Next thing I'm going to show off is like this office set. I do recall buying the STL files for the desk, the filing cabinet, the trash can, and the chairs off of Etsy. I think the bookcases, or it could be a Patreon member I'm a part of. I can't remember. I apologize. I print and print and print, and a lot of times I just give stuff away. But here's the desk. So I am going to show you what it looks like with a G.I. Joe behind it. There's a chair in the background. We'll get to that here momentarily. So here's the desk, and here is the front side, or the back side, depending on how you look at it, I guess. But all have working drawers right there. And then you have a working top drawer right there. So you have a total of 7 drawers. And then you have this top that has like a nameplate spot, some sort of pad, and then a document sitting on top of it. And over here in the background can either be a cup or a pen holder. So it's whatever floats your boat. So here is, I'm trying not to get the drawers to fall out. Here is the other side, and I'll come back and explain to you on this part, but I'm just trying to get you an overall look on what it looks like. So there is that. Now, here is the one thing I wanted to point out. So this top right here was separate upon itself to print. So up under it is the part that I had adhesive to the bed, and it printed up. So like the end of this cup holder was the last thing to get printed. You can either put this top on, or you could also print just a plain top. And you'll see it has this insert or groove up under it. And technically, I think it is supposed to just snap on, and then you can take this one and snap off. But for the love of me, I could not get it to connect inside the grooves. And I like the concept, and pretty much it's probably something I'm doing on my end that's messing it up. But what I did was I couldn't get this to stay on there, and it just kept flopping off. And I knew that it just wasn't going to be secure enough for me to interchange these. So I'm going to print another desk and have it just plain with this top on it. And I used some real thin glue that I saw on somebody's hobbyist channel. And it's a very quick reacting and adheres quick to whatever you're putting it on. And I went ahead and just glued this top portion on here. So it is what it is. And I don't really care because I glue a lot of my 3D prints together. But I do like the idea of the snap fit. There's something I did wrong on my end. The other thing I wanted to show you, and I know I'm going to try to knock these drawers out. All right, so I like to try to print without supports if optionable. It just looks better overall, and it's a lot easier to print. Sometimes you just can't do it. So if I had printed it this way coming up, I would have had supports all up under here. And that is a ton of wasted material right there. So there's that issue. So the other way to print it, let me just try to get this. The other way to print it was this part down. So, but the problem is you notice that there's an inlay right there. Kind of, I guess, for fashion or the way it looks. But because you're printing it like this, that's got to have something for it to rest on, because otherwise your filament will be kind of droopy up under there. So I had to put supports right there, and you'll see what I'm talking about. This part's pretty smooth because this is the part that rests on the PEI sheet. But this part's kind of rough looking because this rough texture is what the supports were connected to. And now, of course, after you paint it and everything, it's not going to really make a difference. But if you were to face it this way, you definitely need to do some sort of sanding maybe and some thick coats of paint, or not do it at all. I mean, it's just for background photography and such. So I am happy with the way this came out. I do like this desk. I have a lot of different files of different desks, and I like the variety that you can use with them. And again, I'm going to make another one with a smooth top, but I did like that top right there. It kind of gives it some character. The other thing that came with this STL package, you can see a little rough spot right there, was a small trash can right here. And you can tell right here on these curves, it didn't do so well as it did on these. So again, I'm not a 3D expert. There is some rough looking texture right there as compared to this. Right here is the part that rested on the bed and it printed up. So I had no wasted material on this. But I can't figure out why these two corners look very nice. Let me see if I can. Those two corners look really good. But these two corners are kind of beveled in a way and rough textured. So I'm just not sure. But I'm still happy with it. It's just a little trash can for decoration. The next thing is this file cabinet. And again, these have working drawers. The only thing is, because drawers need tracks to go in and out, whether the tracks come out with the drawer or they stay inside and it just kind of works. Because this has no track system, as soon as you open it, the weight will, if you have stuff in it, it's going to come out like that. So if you wanted it to be open, just be careful for prop-like if you're putting anything in there, because if you put some heavy stuff in there, it's going to fall out. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 working drawers. Now, all the drawers are removable. You'll see right here, that is the part that the bed that it rested on and printed up. That way I didn't have to use any supports or anything. And this is solid. This is really well. I did use some pretty thick infill to get that look. Here are the drawers right here. Now you'll see right here, some of the drawers have a little bit. Sorry about that. One of my fur babies seen someone walking down the street. All right, so right here you'll see there's a handle on each drawer and like a little mark right there, usually where people would put like a label indicating what's in the drawer. So I had to use some supports. Because if you can see right here, if you print something and you see how it's hollow inside right there, it's got to have something for it to rest on. So if you're printing this and there is a part that comes off right here, you got to have supports right here. Otherwise, when it is printing, there's nothing for it to rest on, so it just starts drooping. But if you put supports up there, it'll cause it to have something for this part to rest on and finish the print job, and then you just remove the prints. So some of the drawers turned out okay with the supports, and some of them did not. And you can see right here is where the supports tried to form right there, and it just did not work. Same exact print right here. It's just, you know, you win some, you lose some, if that makes sense. But that's a good example of what it looks like, kind of stringy like, if the supports do not work correctly. But again, for a prop, and that's exactly what this is, I'm very happy with the way it is and the way it turned out. I can always redo some of the drawers, but here it is compared to the figure. So really happy with that. The next thing is this chair, and this came in 3 proponents. So you had this part right here with this as one print. Then you had the handles for the armrest that came like a big U. That was one piece. And then this seat and back part were one piece. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so this part didn't need any prints. It printed down here onto the bed and just went straight up. And there's like a little male connection that goes into a female connection right there. And I did glue it together to keep it secure. The armrest, you can see right here, this part rested on the bed and printed like a big U. I did have to utilize some supports right there because, again, the overhang. The seat itself, this part rested on the bed, so it just printed, and I didn't need any supports because it just kind of slowly just kept going up and up and up, and then it finished off. So there is the chair. Now, with the chairs, you know, you win some, you lose some, meaning that some chairs will work and some chairs will not work. We'll try it at the first bend, the second bend of the knee, the first one being that one. And I have not tested a figure in this chair yet. And I will tell you that when you print 1/12 scale stuff, especially chairs, they have a rough time fitting American-made 1/12 figures because these are not really 1/12 compared to something like SH Figure Arts import figures. Those are definitely 1/12 scale figures. It's like they are not 110, not 1/12. It's like this little bit of middle ground between 1/12 and 1/11. And you can see, let's take this nightstick out of the way. This might not work with all his holsters. And you'll see it's kind of a tight fit. So what I would suggest is if you're going to print something, I don't want to push it all the way in there. because of his rigs and stuff. But sometimes it doesn't hurt just to make the chair a little bit bigger. And you can always do that when you're slicing the object that you're getting ready to print to get that size that you want. And but sometimes making it a little bit bigger might help the figure fit. But again, G.I. Joe and stuff is a very small tad bigger with true 1/12 scale objects and such. And you'll see that a good example is, I don't have it in hand, but I've watched a lot of reviews where Ramen Toys did the 1/12 scale van. It is perfectly scaled 1/12. However, many figures are having difficulty fitting in that driver's seat, and I have watched a ton of reviewers break some of the components like the blinker turn signal trying to fit a figure in, because it is very true and accurate to 1/12 scale. And that runs into a problem with a lot of vehicles that you try to get, that most of the time a 1/10 scale vehicle works better than a 1/12 scale to compensate a little bit of the bigger scale of for the vehicle. All right, so these are some bookcases. I cannot remember if this came with that STL package or not. This is the same bookcase, but what I did was I made this one, these two, taller than this one. It's the same exact thing, but again, when you're slicing your objects, you can change them in different sizes, slimmer. It's just a lot of room to mess with. So I did not use any supports on these. This is what the taller one looks like compared to the figure. Here is the smaller one. And these kind of remind me of those IKEA Billy bookcases I see people always displaying their figures and stuff on. And I did want some variety in sizes, but this did not come. I did not use any supports. This part right here is the part that rested on the bed, and it printed up, and there was no supports needed. And I did use a little bit extra infill because I wanted the shelves right here to be kind of more thicker. So when I put some books and different things on there, it would look okay and hold the weight of it. But real happy with the way those turned out. And again, they're just bookcases. But there is your figure right there, standing right next to it. And yeah, that's some of the projects that I have been working on. I hope you enjoyed seeing me showcase some of these. The next thing I'm going to show is an STL file that I got from Landspeeder Luke's Patreon account. It is quite big, and I'll get that laid out and show it to you. And then after that, I do have some 3D prints that I've been working on from Vasco Toys Patreon account, but some of those I want to glue together because some of the things that I printed have to be assembled. So I'd rather do that video once I have those assembled. And I also have a Big Bad Toy Store haul video that's going to be coming up shortly. And I don't post as regularly as I used to. I just got a lot of stuff going on right now. But I do hope that this video was informative. I get a lot of questions about 3D printed stuff. I am not an expert. I've got a great Flash Forge 5M Pro that pretty much is, self-running. I just upload what I need, and it's very user-friendly. And again, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. That way some of my content will get out to other people. I mainly just like helping fellow collectors, and that's it. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.